Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and gender non-conforming, gender fluid, polygamorous ponies! Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the video title today, we're going to be debunking all those terrible, horrendous, misguided feminist myths. You know the ones where people think that feminists hate all men, you know, where people think that feminists are all just hairy beasts. And sure, I mean, you could debunk the entire whole damn thing by, you know, hashtag not all. But where's the fun in that? And oh my god, I've had too much coffee this morning. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, come with me on this journey as we extol the virtues of ignorance through ignoring how stereotypes are formed and construct massive strawmans out of the criticisms against feminism. So without further ado, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to insist that you take a seat in the conversion chambers, strap in, and let the truth that is feminism cleanse the patriarchal wrong thing from your minds.
This video is called Feminist Myths. Yeah!
Like OMG, we're gonna be such super fabulous feminist mythbusters today. I'm so excited, aren't you all too? Please kill me.
Jolie and I are both obviously feminists.
What? No, you don't say. I mean, it's not like either of you fall into any stereotypical categories. I mean, we're about to debunk those myths, aren't we?
We call ourselves feminists. We are out and proud feminists. So what does feminism mean to you?
So to me, it is all about dismantling the oppression which has been caused by the patriarchal society as we know it, and letting people live their lives however they want and to be who they really want to be.
Well, as it turns out, little lady, I'm a straight cis white male who wants to be the CEO of a large company, display traditional masculine traits, and conduct myself in an otherwise manly manner.
Glass ceiling, toxic masculinity, patriarchy.
Chinga tu madre, pendejo.
Racism.
What? Mexican's not a... Spanish isn't a race... What?
What about you, Megan?
I mean, I was saying this earlier that I would probably just go straight for the, like, Chimamanda definition. So just the social, political, economical equality of the sexes.
Social, political, economic equality is not exactly what it appears to be. When you look at the bottom line, it's clear you will see it's all about female superiority. But hey, I'm just a bigot and we're here to dispel these myths. I'm sure that they will debunk this thoroughly with facts and information and colorful hair.
Come on, Beyonce.
We flawless.
I woke up like this.
God, I think if I woke up like that, I would go seek medical attention.
I found feminism properly a few years ago, so when I was like 21, 22, and it was the same time that I found the body positive community and read The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf for the first time, and it just kind of made the world make sense to me. All of my experiences, they suddenly made sense. It made me realise why I hated my body for so long. It made me realise why I was trying to live up to the cultural standards that I was, standards of beauty, standards of femininity. It made everything make sense.
That's right, y'all. You see, I didn't get turned on because of my weight, which clearly shows I'm lazy and eat too much. I didn't get turned on because of any character flaws or red flags about my appearance. No, I got turned on because patriarchy has poisoned the minds of well-off and fit individuals to hold certain standards when looking for a partner. We just have to destroy society's standards, so I can be accepted the way I am without having to do any work on myself or develop any good character traits. I mean, I shouldn't have to act and look like a proper lady to attract a proper man. They should just want me. Stupid patriarchy. I want some ice cream.
It's like, click.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Oh my god. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, all of our problems, all these things that we thought we had to work on, all these flaws with ourselves and society we thought that we needed to work on, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's patriarchy, my golden fucking patriarchy. What the fuck? Wait, I got it. This is your brain. And this is your brain on intersectional feminism. This week is Intersectional Feminism Awareness Week. Have a talk with your kids about the dangers of intersectional feminism.
I was about 17, and it was when I was in 6th form. Not that it was like widespread trendy, but it was trendy within my group to be like, you know, like forward. You know, we were like the misfits. It's like that kind of period where everyone's experimenting and finding themselves. And I was like, I'm a feminist. So I shaved off all my hair and wore combat boots every day. Like every day.
Oh yeah, myth busted. That's right, militant feminists who shave off all their hair and wear combat boots, those are just a stereotype, okay? They're just a myth because she's not one anymore. Wait a second, what?
Even in summer, it was sweaty. I got athlete's foot. That's true.
Gross.
I know. When I first started like identifying with feminism, really it was all about the issues which affected me. So it was white feminism.
And oh no, you don't want that white feminism, you want the intersectionality package. Then I'll have you getting outraged over imaginary problems facing brown people, sexually ambiguous people, disabled people. Your tweets will have never looked so inclusive, you'll be the envy of all your friend. I mean, you don't want to exclude anyone. Think about all the people you've never met and their feelings. Wait, what do you mean, what about the men's? Intersectionality cares about the men. What do you mean you want to talk about it? Get out of here with your hate speech. I'm sick of your shit.
Obviously, that doesn't mean white people who are feminists. You explain it better than me.
Okay, so when people talk about white feminism, what they mean is feminism that isn't intersectional, that doesn't consider other issues like racism, ableism, ageism, colorism, homophobia, transphobia, etc. And
Fatphobia.
Fatphobia.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We should all beware the colorists. What the hell is colorism? Oh my god. Okay, let's drop the bullshit here because it seems like you morons keep on one-upping your stupidity every time we delve into another video. Okay, unless somebody is physically assaulting you, damaging or stealing your property, or inciting violence against you or a group of people based on these things, you have nothing to complain about. If they're just saying mean words about you because of these things, maybe you should reflect on what that says about you, that you have to create an entire group to protect your fragile little snowflake feelings.
Intersectional feminism is what all feminism should be. And when we talk about intersectional feminism, we mean recognizing that oppression is different for everyone. And depending on who you are, you will have different layers of oppression. For example, the sexism that we face is not the same as the sexism that also contains, for example, racism and transphobia that a transgender woman of color would face.
Yeah.
There are more intersections of their identity that mean that the oppression is different.
Officer, help, they're being oppressed.
Oh dear, all right, you just calm down now and you tell me what happened.
Well, I was in the store over there, and this poor, disabled, trans woman of color was buying a case of Twinkies when she got her money out to pay for it, and this group of guys...
Uh-oh, I better call this in. Dispatch, looks like we got a 211 robbery in progress.
They called her a fat nigger faggot.
Dispatch, better cancel that. Looks like a false alarm.
False alarm? But she's been oppressed. You have to do something.
Now, ma'am, everybody gets their feelings hurt, but it ain't no crime. You can't be arrested for saying mean words. This ain't Europe.
But she's a disabled trans woman of color. You can't assume to know what her individual experience is like. Her oppression is unique and real and special.
Now, ma'am, the only thing that appears to be oppressing this person is gravity. Now, she is a grown man lady, and their mobility scooter is working just fine. They can just roll on out of there and ignore those bins.
You racist pig! White supremacist Nazi! Tumblr will hear about this!
Yep, you have a nice day now.
So we both know what feminism is.
Yeah.
But being feminists on the internet, we get told pretty much every day what other people think feminism is.
Yeah, all the time.
And how horrible and awful it is. So we thought for this segment, what we could do is take what those people say and call bullshit.
100%. Buster!
That's right, Buster! It's time to get educated, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and bust some of these myths.
Feminist myth number 1. All feminists have hairy legs.
Well, personally, I do. And the reason I'm comfortable with my hairy legs is definitely to do with feminism, because I don't feel like I have to shave them anymore.
Okay, let me make sure I've got this straight. You want to bust the myth that all feminists have hairy legs by getting a hairy-legged feminist to tell us that she doesn't shave her legs, and it has a lot to do with feminism. Your argument is hashtag not all. My God, I feel like I have learned a lot. I mean, hashtag not all. I mean, sure, maybe most, enough to start the stereotype, but not all, guys. Hashtag not all. So, myth busted.
But originally, the reason I didn't shave them is actually completely because I've got really sensitive skin and I'm lazy. Really, that's mostly it.
This is absolutely fascinating. You see, it's what you tell yourself
Actually completely because I've got really sensitive skin.
versus what your real problem actually is.
I'm lazy. Really, that's mostly it.
Suppose at least you're half aware?
Things like body hair. It is an aspect of feminism that it's a choice you do to your body, what you want to do. You don't listen to what societal expectations are.
Madam, I think you may be mistaken. I think that's called being an individual and a grown-up.
We also have to acknowledge that it's different for different people. You know, Jolie, the blondest, usually very blonde, super blonde hair, her choosing not to shave her legs is going to be different from, for example, a transgender woman who has to be passing in society, choosing not to shave their legs or her legs.
Okay, I tell you what, I acknowledge that different people have to deal with different problems. Now what? Do I get a cookie? Do I have to give somebody else a cookie? What does acknowledging the fact that everybody else has problems actually do? I mean, isn't it common knowledge, we all have problems? Wait a second, who acknowledges my problems? Oh, that's right, I have to deal with my own problems because, straight white male and all.
Or so people from different cultures who perhaps or different races who grow particularly thick hair.
They're called black and brown people. Are you colorphobic?
And within their culture and society, they're shamed for their body hair. Like hair bleaching and things like that is extremely popular because they're made to feel that if they were their natural hairy selves, then they are unattractive or, undesirable and things like that.
You always see the naturally hairy beast hiding from society, shamed because everyone finds overly hairy people to be gross as hell. Due to the oppression of having to live with reality, it's taken to nature until the day that this horrible oppression is dealt with, and everyone is forced at gunpoint to find naturally hairy beings attractive. There are those who have tried to make contact with it to tell it that that's just how freedom of expression and freedom of speech work in a society that doesn't find hairy people attractive. All have been met with the same response. On Tumblr. Stop oppressing me, you massive hairophobic racist shitlords.
So it's very different for someone like me who's got just a light spattering of mossy hair. Mossy. I am hairy all over, by the way. Like, I've got peach fuzz on my face and my back and my tummy and my boobs. know, I love it. It's my favourite part.
So basically the answer is some feminists have hairy legs, some feminists don't have hairy legs, and also you can be a feminist and choose to shave your legs just because you like having smooth legs. It's completely your decision.
So what I'm gathering is that there's nobody out there who actually thinks that all feminists are all hairy, but most of them are, enough so that there has been a stereotype that has arisen. But I am so glad that we could put to rest the myth that hashtag all feminists anything. I'm so glad that we got this straightened out.
So in the same kind of context, we obviously also have that feminists don't wear makeup, don't care about their appearance, like don't look feminine, that kind of thing.
Yeah. When I say that I'm a feminist, people are generally quite shocked if I'm out, like, you know, if I'm not going, most people won't know what that means.
Oh, I'm sure that they're shocked right up until you open your mouth or you start saying things like, I'm gonna go, guys. Then they realize that you're a massive child and you're a feminist.
I feel like this is a topic that has been like done to death basically, in that feminists can wear makeup, you can enjoy makeup, it can be a passion of yours.
You know, I think there are probably some older feminists out there who would disagree. That they would probably say, you know, much like high heels and bras, makeup is just, you know, oppression of women through the patriarchy, you know, just a tool to make women more appealing to men. I am truly starting to question your commitment to feminism.
You can have it as a creative outlet, that's fine. I also, I talk quite a lot about not having to wear makeup to feel like you're good enough and to feel like you're worthy of being seen, just because that's something that I still personally struggle with and I am still personally coming to terms with.
Right. You see, we call those personal problems and the things that we have to deal with on our own. We don't get groups of people to help us with them because it's something that only you can fix for yourself.
My bare face, without makeup, in today's culture where it seems like having a full face all the time is more and more expected. But as feminists, you can do whatever the fuck you want to your own face.
It's your face.
And as an individual who's not a part of any group, including feminism, you can still do whatever you want to your own damn face because, like you said, it's your face. Now, if you yourself as an individual choose to supplement your confidence artificially, you have nobody to blame but yourself. That's right, it's all on you.
Feminist myth number 2. Feminists hate men.
It's true.
That was your evil man-hating laugh.
Yeah, I put that out all the time. I personally don't hate men. I like them very much. As a straight woman, obviously I don't hate men. I very much enjoy them.
I don't hate men, but I've only ever been accused of hating men as a way to shut down whatever I was talking about, and they don't engage with the actual topic that you're talking about. They just say, oh, well, obviously you hate men.
Look, okay, I'm not saying that I hate men. I mean, I love men. I'm just saying that men need to just bend over and take it up the ass because I declared women to be oppressed without any real evidence that holds up under scrutiny. I mean, feminism just wants to institute quotas that unfairly target men and actively discriminate against them in the name of diversity and inclusivity. I mean, what kind of bigot doesn't want diversity and inclusivity? And feminism really needs to break that glass ceiling. I mean, just because we want to devalue the hard work that men have done to get their high positions in life by giving the women's shortcuts into these positions to make it to the top, I mean, we need to break the glass ceiling. I mean, even though we'll effectively be destroying meritocracy and keeping otherwise more qualified men out of the industry, I mean, we love men. Come on.
I don't.
They don't do that all the time. So you could be talking about, like, the availability of like contraception. People are like, why do you hate men? I'm like, no, I just want to go on the pill.
No, I think the problem here might possibly be that other people have a problem paying for your contraceptive and want you to pay for it yourself instead. You know, pay for your own things, like an adult.
Yeah, I think this is the issue. If you talk about women's issues, people will think that you're against men. Like, that's not the case. You can talk about one thing without being against the other thing.
But have you taken the time to look down and see whom you're stepping on to reach those ideas?
The, feminists hate men argument is the easiest way to shut down individual feminists who are talking about these issues, rather than actually think about the wider context, because the patriarchy is the issue. The fact that we live in a patriarchal society where men have been
Put on a pedestal?
put on a pedestal. Basically, society has been made with men in mind when you think about, social issues, economical issues, political issues. We live in a patriarchal society, so challenging that can easily be construed as
hating men and everything.
Hate men.
What in the actual hell are you talking about? What do you mean that men are put up on a pedestal? Men have often, throughout all of history, had to wade through rivers of all kinds of unimaginable shit in order to make it to the ladder that leads up. Yes, men often hold the majority of positions of power in society, but that's because men have always fought, bled, and died to make it there. However, our societies remain gynocentric. Women are often treated a hell of a lot better, and women actually have more rights in the Western worlds than men have, and we can actually point to those. Your condescending attitude to most men who occupy more lower positions in society than women, frankly, it's insulting. I tell you what, you get your collective fat asses up off the sofa, go work down in sewage. Yeah, that's right. Let's get us some equality in the sewage industry and garbage picking industry. Go pick up some garbage, bitch. And then we'll talk about patriarchy, you arrogant, ignorant, self-entitled infants. Hey, my golden chicken. Okay, look, all I'm gonna say is that when the Titanic goes down, there's not exactly a lot of chaps getting on those lifeboats. Now are there?
You don't have to hate men to want them to be a better person, but that applies for men and women. So if I meet someone who's even female and they're like, I'm not a feminist, I'd still be like, you can do better, Tracy. You can do better. And I'd say that to a man as well. It's got nothing to do with your gender or non-gender.
Wait a second. I thought that we were against shaming people as feminists. Oh, it's okay to shame people who say they're not feminist. Oh, fantastic.
Feminist myth number 3. Feminism only benefits women.
So I guess this myth kind of comes under the same umbrella as feminism is about wanting women to be better than everyone else, rather than wanting them to be equal. And the thing is, like, feminism benefits everyone because it's not just women's issues that are part of feminism. Intersectional feminism isn't just about the issues that affect cisgender women. It's also about racism and ableism and colorism and ageism and homophobia and transphobia and all other issues. It benefits all genders to talk about these issues and solve them in our society. And that actually includes cisgender men.
Now you just get comfy and sit your fat asses right there. Old Captain's got a story to tell you. Once upon a time, there was this magic place. We'll call it the Western world. Now in this world, there used to be terrible discrimination against people of different races, creeds, and sexual orientations. But over time, brave people stood up and said, "This shit be wrong, you! Let's institute laws that punish discrimination and gives equality of opportunity to all." And so it was. The men's, the women's, the blacks, the fags, and even the dirty Jews had equality. People couldn't legally discriminate against them, and by the sweat of their own brows could carve out their own path in the pursuit of happiness. Yes, indeed, life, liberty were achieved for all. Women could vote, and slavery had ended. The whole thing was done. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, the corpse of one of these heroes for equality was reanimated with some form of dark magic and used to continue fighting on, even though the battle had already been won, slowly tipping the well-balanced scale too far in one direction. It was the corpse of feminism!
Because there's issues like toxic masculinity and men not being able to show their emotions, which is part of patriarchal lessons, and that is what feminism is trying to undo.
It's the classic trope of boys will be boys, and strong men don't cry, and not being able to choose even the career that you want. You might get a man who's loves to sew, but he feels intimidated by that industry because it's not the stereotypical career for a man. Breaking down those barriers means that everybody can be themselves without having to worry about what the rest of society is going to think, because at the end of the day, it's the patriarchal society that puts the pressure on people to not be able to be themselves and to not show their emotions.
Yeah, because when you think about toxic masculinity, often the things that are being condemned as men shouldn't do that, it's because those things are traditionally considered to be feminine. So showing emotions,
Wearing pink.
Wearing pink. The reason that they've been demonized as men shouldn't do that is because we're taught that femininity is weakness. And actually, if we realize that there is strength in femininity, femininity shouldn't be demonized in any way, then toxic masculinity wouldn't exist.
Okay, I let you ramble on because I wanted you to get the stupidity out of your system, just get it all out in the open so we can take a big stab at it here at the end of the video. Okay, now that I'm good and triggered, let's have some fun with this. Let's just get right in. You see, the way that you framed masculinity versus the way that you framed femininity is why people say that you're man-hating and you're for female superiority. I believe it's the root cause of this complaint that people have against feminism. You see, you've said that masculinity is toxic and bad and terrible and, we need to dismantle it because it's part of patriarchy and patriarchy is bad. Whereas femininity is strength and shouldn't be demonized in any way. You see what I'm getting at? Most men are just wired to be masculine and do masculine things. Now, we want to feel like a man because we've got all this testosterone. And throughout history, this whole strong man mentality, it's because when it's time to kill or be killed, men are the ones sent out in the front line. And if we break down and cry and want to exercise our emotions, you're going to die. If you continue feminizing men, what the hell do you think is going to happen when a fight breaks out? When there's blood and guts and gore and there's a battlefield that has to be fought on? What do you think is going to happen? You're going to have a bunch of infantilized men who can't handle it. You see, the strong man mentality comes from, it's okay to cry, but there is a time and a place for it. Men have to be able to swallow those emotions and deal with what's at hand, and then they can break down and cry later when there's time for it. There's no time to break down and discuss your feelings and cry and just let it all out when your buddy Tom just got his fucking head blown off. And most men are just wired this way. We're wired to be able to, just suck it up and do what needs to be done, and we'll have breakdown later, we'll deal with all that shit later, but right now, we need to get shit done. You know what? If I knew a dude who wants to wear pink, be a seamstress, and he's worried about, but what will society think about me? What would they think? I don't want to be seen as unmasculine. I would tell him to man up and stop being such a little bitch. You know what? I think we need to have a talk about toxic femininity. Yeah, the bullshit that you're trying to push on men everywhere. It seems like you're trying to feminize the competitive and aggressive nature out of men. It seems like you're trying your best to aggress society back into the womb that it came out of. How about you fuck right off and let boys be boys for once? I mean, you don't hear anybody complaining about, girls just being girls. Why don't you be more competitive, little Susie? Huh? Why don't you drive a little hard? Why don't you go be a physicist and an engineer? You know what? Fuck that. We'll let little Susie decide what she wants to do and what she likes. We'll let girls be girls. Imagine that. Just imagine that. A world in which most boys choose little trains and cars and little girls mostly choose dolls and shit because that happens to be in their nature, you asshole. Stop trying to change little Susie. Little Susie likes those dolls. And you know what? If little Susie decides that she wants to be a physicist when she grows up, little Susie can do that. Nothing is going to stop her. If little Johnny wants to be a seamstress when he grows up, little Johnny can be a fucking seamstress. How about this? I propose that we just let boys be boys, we let girls be girls, present them with equality of opportunity, and let freedom and their own determination empower them to make their own choices regardless of what society thinks. You see, people who can go against the flow and follow their dreams are often the ones who shine the brightest and make history. Life is not fair. Life is not comfortable. Life is not kind. Life is not easy. And if feminism succeeds in making it so, you're going to have an entire generation that lacks the tools to face the harshness of reality. And then where will we be? I suppose at least on the bright side we'll have dismantled the patriarchy. Who cares if our children are all living in bubbles and scared of loud noises? Oh my god. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for this video being so long, although I hope that you did enjoy it. Thanks once again to my patrons and those who help support this channel. If you yourself would like to help support this channel, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button and leave a comment down below. I do look at the comments and I try to respond to them wherever appropriate. And there's also a tip jar down in the description, along with the link to this original video. Assuming I can find that link again to give you anyway. I did cut some parts out of this video to help trim down on the time, believe it or not. hopefully I can find some kind of content where I just don't get carried away and end up making a 30-40 minute long video. I would really like to make some videos that are a little more user friendly, something that's easy to digest, something that's, pretty small and, easy to watch. But anywho, I do hope that you did enjoy watching, and I will see you in the next video. But until then, remember, keep fighting stupidity wherever you may find it. Have a good one.